Hello everyone, this is Sanjit Kumar Singh, lecturer in Electronics and Telecommunication Department at Praveen Patil College of Diploma Engineering and Technology, Bhandari, Thane. So we are discussing about the Thyristor family devices in this fifth part of the subject Basic Power Electronics. In this presentation, we'll cover the UJT and PUT with respect to construction operating principle, VI characteristics and applications. Course outcome is to identify power electronic devices in circuits. Before we go to the UJT, let's see the conventional triggering circuits, that is R and RC triggering circuits, which give pulses broader and thus resulting in more power losses in the gate circuit. Moreover, for automatic or feedback control systems, these are not favorable. Therefore, UJT overcomes these difficulties and produces pulses, and pulse triggering is used because it offers many advantages as compared to R and RC method of triggering. Pulse triggering is more efficient, more reliable, faster and higher current permissible in case of pulse triggering. So let's see the UJT is one of the triggering device. UJT stands for unijunction transistor. It has two layers, P and N layer, and three terminals solid state device it is. The pulse obtained from by UJT relaxation oscillator is used to trigger the thyristor. Now let's see the construction part. UJT is made of a N-type silicon base to which P-type emitter, aluminum rod generally, is embedded onto it. N-type is lightly doped, whereas P-type is heavily doped. So, moreover, there is two ohmic contacts, one at each end, and are called base 1 and base 2. And as we can see here, the UJT 2N2646 has three terminals, base 1, base 2, and emitter. Between base 1 and base 2, there are two resistors, RB1 and RB2, that are called the internal resistances, and with respect to central point called eta point A. So here is the eta point A, and these two are the resistors RB1 and RB2, and it is the equivalent representation of a UJT. So here we find N-type substrate, onto that P-type heavily doped P-type aluminum is embedded, and from there emitter terminal is taken out, and the two ohmic contacts are base 1 and base 2. The same circuit is representing with the voltages here across the different components. So they are not separatable because it is in internal structure, equivalent structure. So what is the voltage across RB1 plus the voltage across the diode formed by PN is used for triggering, and when this voltage across VD plus the voltage across RB1 is greater than the emitter voltage here, then it will turn on, the device turns on, and if this happens to be less than the emitter voltage here, then it remains in the off state. So this is how it is operated, and between RB1 between base 1 and base 2, it is the total interbase resistance, and its value could be 4 to 12 kilo ohm, and eta is the intrinsic standoff ratio, which is defined as the ratio of RB1 to total resistance, and its value we have seen 0.51 to 0.82, and RB1 is variable big, and here we see it is negative temperature coefficient. That means this resistance RB1 value varies with the current amount flowing through it. So here we see the emitter terminal is tilted, that shows the conventional current flow from the emitter to base 1 and base 2 to base 1. That's why it is not tilted, not straight, and that is how it is operated. These are the different packages. So here we see for this type of packaging, emitter terminal near to the notch, and going clockwise, the base 1, base 2, similar to that of transistor. We have a emitter, base, and a collector. So rather than collector, it is base 2. And this is the different packaging. IV characteristics of the UJT is shown here, which is plotted against IE current, emitter current in milliampere is plotted against the emitter voltage, and as the emitter voltage is increased, the negative current through the device is first made at 0 at this point, and beyond this it increases to the VP point, peak point. So till this point, peak point, it is in the cutoff state, cutoff region, and as we increase the voltage further, the current increases from IP towards IV, but voltage, emitter voltage decreases. So this is the negative resistance region formed, and at this point, value point voltage, the resistance offered by RB1 is the minimum as it is in the saturation, and thereafter saturation state starts, region starts. So this cycle can be repeated, and the negative resistance region is of much use in many applications, for switching applications, control applications. Then the value of IP and IV, for instance, for 2N2647, it is 2 microampere and 4 milliampere respectively. Vp is the voltage across RB1, that is eta VVP, plus the voltage drop across the silicon diode 0.7, and value point voltage is 10% of the supply voltage VBB. So that is the IV characteristics. One of the application of UJT is as a relaxation oscillator, which produces pulses at its base 1 and base 2. Base 1 will produce positive pulses and base 2 will produce negative pulses. So in this circuit we can see, as the supply voltage VVB is given, capacitor C starts charging. It will charge to a voltage Vc is equal to V is equal to VVB within bracket 1 minus e raised to minus t by RC, and when the voltage across it reaches this emitter voltage, or the sum of the diode Vd plus the voltage across this RB1, then it turns on the UJT and discharging current, then capacitor starts to discharge through this path through the RB1, and thus making pulses or generating a pulses across the RB1. So these are the pulses generated during the discharge path. So this is the value point voltage of the capacitor voltage, and once it reaches the value point, again the capacitor starts charging. So this discharging and charging, discharging and charging goes on repeating. So the pulse generated for frequency will be given by 1 upon RC ln within bracket 1 upon 1 minus n eta. So if 100 kilo ohm and 10 nanofarad capacitors are taken, these two RE and SE, for a eta value 0.75, we get pulse repetition frequency of 1.39 kilohertz, and these pulses can be with transformer arrangement. Rather than making use of 47, we can make use of a transformer with low primary resistance and secondary. So this will provide the additional isolation between the gating and the power circuit. Here same is depicted here. The UJT relaxation oscillator, the charging time is dependent upon the resistor and the capacitor, whereas the discharging time is dependent upon the capacitor and this RB1 or R1 here, and voltage V out is nothing but pulses generated during discharging of the capacitor. Second device, PUT, that is programmable unijunction transistor, is more alive and well. It is inexpensive and it serves similar function as that of the UJT. PUT is a complementary SCR because the gate terminal is connected to N layer of the PNPN structure. So it is PNPN device also similar to SCR, but gate is connected to the anode side N layer, not to the P. This is the symbolic representation of PUT, and this is the biasing. IV characteristics, here again we find it is similar to that of the PUT, UZT. Here negative current, then peak point. Up to peak point it is cutoff region, then from here the resistance decreases, that is current increases and voltage decreases. So it can be repeated. This is the valley point where the resistance is minimum, and beyond this is the saturation region. It is called programmable because we can decide the value of eta by properly selecting R1 and R2, which is externally there, but in case of UZT we cannot uh, adjust these values because they are inbuilt. So that is the advantage. It is programmable. The intrinsic standoff ratio can be decided, the peak voltage can be decided in PUT. And similar to the UZT relaxation oscillator, here we have the PUT relaxation oscillator to produce the pulses across this RK of 47 ohm. Here we see, and here we have the RC arrangement for charging the capacitor by this supply, and it will discharge through the device, turning on the device when the voltage here exceeds the gating voltage, then by a small amount, then it is turned on, and discharging current will be flowing through it and resulting into a pulse generated across it when it is discharging from peak point to valley point. Applications: it is used in time delay logic circuits, oscillator, and gate control circuits of SCR. So here we have the summary of the UZT and PUT. A UZT transistor consists of two bases, base 1 and base 2, attached to a resistive bar of silicon and emitter in the center. So base 1 emitter junction has negative resistance properties. It decreases with the rising temperature, that is, as the more electrons are flowing, then temperature rises, and due to that resistance decreases. So the resistance is variable, RB1. It can switch between high and low resistance. And PUT is a programmable unijunction transistor in a 3-terminal 4-layer, that is PNPN thyristor acting like UZT. So construction wise it is complementary SCR, and working wise it is similar to UZT. VI characteristics is similar to UZT, and external resistor network programs the intrinsic standoff ratio eta, and this intrinsic standoff ratio eta is the R1 resistor divided by the sum of the two resistors R1 plus R2 for PUT. So substituting these values, R1 as RB1 and R2 as RB2, we get the equivalent unijunction transistor. The trigger voltage is determined by eta, that is the peak point voltage will be decided by eta. And applications of both these UZT and PUT are applied to oscillators, timing circuits, and thyristor triggering. They are used in. So these are the references for more detailed study. Thank you very much.